I have to carry on teaching the lesson going, racking my brains going, it's like maybe one of their parents come to a gig and see me do it. Like, how has this happened?
Yeah.
I'd like go through this and trying not to have like a full-on panic attack. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not freaking out. Like, this kid knows that I've said on stage that I've into a pasty.
I think that's a lovely answer, though. What you just gave there. I think that's why. Were you quite a likeable teacher then? I imagine you were.
I don't know. I guess like I was all right with behaviour management, but I did get kids that hated me. I mean, I had kids screaming in my face and shit like that. But they're not screaming in your face. They're screaming in a teacher's face. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't want to do fractions last lesson on a Friday. I understand that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to either, but we got to.
Were you a good kid yourself at school?
The truth of it is like I was all right. I was two issues I had was one, I was incredibly lazy. Like every one of my school reports says Romesh has no desire to meet his potential at all. I don't know why he doesn't like knuckle. Like every single one of my reports said that. And then the other thing is like when I was in like year 10, my dad went to prison and like we got our house repossessed. And then when that happened, I just stopped giving a shit. And then I became a nightmare. Like I was bunking off, I was smoking weed and all sorts of shit. So, but that wasn't like, you know, then I was like, I don't give a crap about this anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I did enjoy school, but not for any of the lessons or anything. I enjoyed it for like seeing my friends and stuff like that. But I was a bit of a nightmare in lessons and stuff.
So is that probably why you have so much compassion for the naughty kids? Because you realised that you didn't give a shit when.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm making it out like I was an angelic teacher. I wasn't. I mean, there were times when I completely... I fucked up quite a few times. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I just think if you could see it from the kids' point of view, it becomes an easier job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair play.
Were you practicing stand-up whilst teaching?
Yeah, mate, it was...
Oh, you were doing the two...
No, I didn't. So when I started teaching, I started doing stand-up because I'd always wanted to do stand-up, and then I just thought it would be something I do in the evenings, like a little hobby thing. Do you know what I mean? Like all teachers have got like they're in a band or something, or they've got some drill crew, and so like I just thought I would do a bit of stand-up in the evenings, and so I started doing it, and then basically somebody said like as I was doing it, I was like teaching and then going off to do a gig and. I only like open mic gigs, like in the back of a pub or whatever, to 20 people.
Yeah.
And then somebody said to me, "Oh, you should think about doing this for a living. Like you could do it." And so then I started like trying to push my way into like the way it works is without getting too boring about details. But you go and try out for comedy clubs, but you go and try out for free. So they'll go, "Let's have a look at you. Come and do 10 minutes." And then if you do well in that 10 minutes, they'll go, "Right, we'll pay for you to come for the weekend and do 20-minute sets Friday, Saturday, or whatever." So that's how it works. So I started doing that. But mate, it was like doing teaching and doing stand-up. They're just like, I was like knackered. You know, I'd like finish school, get in the car, drive to Nottingham, do a gig, die, come back, go to bed, get up. And I was just like knackered. And I remember the worst thing was when I was at this school that had come out of special measures. I did this joke, right? It's a shit joke. It's one of my first ever jokes, right? But so I'll tell you the bit. It's like one of the first ever bits I ever wrote, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like, I said, I was quite a lonely guy. I remember one night I'd gone out and I was just fed up of not having sex. So I went to a 24-hour petrol station and I went to buy a copy of Asian Babes, right? So that I could have a wank, okay? And I said, the problem is that whenever you go to a 24-hour petrol station, there's always a Sri Lankan working there. And so I went to buy a copy of Asian Babes and it was my Uncle Raj, right? And so I couldn't buy a copy of Asian Babes. I had to buy a cheese and onion pasty and do something with that. Right? That's the joke, right? So that was a joke, right? So essentially, I'm using a pasty as a wanking sleeve as a punch. Is the punchline, right? So I did. So I went and did like some competition in Brixton, and it was like really badly run competition, right? And without checking with any of the acts, they put the sets up on YouTube, right? So I didn't know this. Obviously, as you know, putting stuff up on YouTube has to be done with the express permission of the people in the thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys operate, but so the I didn't know it had gone up on YouTube, and obviously kids search for you online, right?
Oh fucking
So
hell.
I'm handing out textbooks to my year 10 at the special measures school, right? They're like a really nice class, but like I'm always on the edge of just having them under control, right? So, like, I'm handing out textbooks. I hand the textbook to one of the kids at the beginning of the lesson, and he goes to me, "You like pasties, don't you?" And I was like, I didn't know it'd go up on YouTube, so I'm like, what the fuck? And so then I go, and then I have to carry on teaching the lesson, going, racking my brains, going, it's like maybe one of their parents come to a gig and see me do it. Like, how has this happened?
Yeah.
I'd like go through this and trying not to have like a full-on panic attack. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not freaking out. Like, this kid knows that I've said on stage that I've ejaculated into a pasty. Right? So then I run off to the thing. Anyway, it turns out it was on YouTube. Everybody had seen it. And so like for the next few days, everywhere I walked, a kid was going, you like cheese and onion pasties. I had to go and talk to the head teacher.
Oh, fuck.
And like explain the situation, because I didn't know if that, you know, because it puts you in a compromising position as like a member of staff for the school. It might be a bad look. It's the sort of thing the local newspaper might run with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, scandal. A secondary maths teacher found joking about wanking into a pastry good. So like, I had to go, and she goes, I said, like, listen, I've got to have a chat with you. I do stand-up comedy in the evening.
So the other teachers didn't know you did this at that point?
A couple of them did, but the head teacher didn't.
Yeah.
I said, like, I've got to have a chat because like I did this I did this bit of stand-up and it's gone up online. She goes, and what's the joke?
Oh no.
So I go, it's basically, I go to...
Oh, to be a fly on that wall.
I go to a service station and they don't have a magazine for me to masturbate over, so I buy cheese and onion pasty and do something with that. Horrible.
How did that go?
Why cheese and onion? There's got to be better pasties out there for that. Like better.
Like what? What's better?
How was that your takeaway from that?
No, but I think he's good. Listen, let's get into it. Nobody's ever asked me that before. What's a better pasty for fucking, Jack?
I think sort of some kind of minced meat. That noise. That exciting. Anyway, now it's time for a break for our sponsors, Huel.
We do not.
A Huel would be all right.
What, to masturbate into a Huel?
Nah, probably.
The noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sort of thick shake.
Quite similar.
You're not talking about the dry powder, are you? You're talking about a pre-mixed
liquid.
Huel, aren't you? Yeah.
Well.
How long after this situation did you carry on teaching for?
Well, I left that school at the end of that academic year. I thought it was only fair.
For everyone.
But maybe another 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So it didn't end me.
You do loads of shows, don't you, on TV?
Yeah.
You do.
He's apprehensive.